Our generation is too westernized that we don't want to have anything to do with who we are, with who the Creator created us to be. We are so brainwashed and miseducated, so much so that when we stand in the mirror, we don't see ourselves in the mirror. In our minds, we don't see ourselves. Yes, the image that would come in the mirror would be your image. That's okay, but we don't see that image. There's a difference with a reflection of your image in the mirror and you actually seeing yourself in the mirror. And it's sad, but that is what most of us have ended up being. We don't see ourselves. We don't see ourselves in anything, not in the language, not in our education, not in our food, not in the things that makes us who we are, not even in our marriages anymore. Everything that we do, we've pushed down whatever that identify us, and we are picking everything that has nothing to do with who we are. So therefore, when the subject of owning to your race comes up and other races defend their race, we would have our brothers and sisters defend these other races and then just throw everything that they are down the drain. Listen, no matter how westernized you make yourself in education or in your practices, you would never become like them. You are not them. You are a black man. This is who the Creator made you to be, and He did not make a mistake. So until we start seeing who we are, ourselves in the mirror, we would never, and I repeat, we would never wake up. The day we start seeing ourselves in the mirror, they say the day we start seeing everything that we are, that is the day that all that is happening in the world today will stop. That is the day that will stop. The day we begin to see ourselves in the mirror. Not just see the image in the mirror, but see who you are. See who your fathers were. See the spirituality of your fathers. That is the day you wake up. Odomankuma, asase ya mami insani, asase ya mami insani, asase ya mami insani, asase ya mami insani, esi, ajo, abene, auku, yao, efi, amen, insani, nananum. Tuma weche bibima hu na insani, tuma obo bibima hu ban insani, tuma obo Ghana hu ban insani. Tomorrow was and send it tomorrow soon, so that's I see you and send it tomorrow was I see and send it tomorrow was I see you and send it tomorrow won't soon and send it tomorrow Jerry and send it tomorrow what boy more duman kumana pezzy obamina yes and send you one day tomorrow one can tomorrow come I say tomorrow Fredia tomorrow or one tomorrow or not tomorrow tamale tomorrow paga tomorrow navrongo tomorrow inzulenzu tomorrow takwa tomorrow azim tomorrow agona tomorrow takrade, tomorrow buzia, tomorrow second day, tomorrow Shama, tomorrow Commander, tomorrow Bepos, tomorrow Cape Coast, tomorrow Mankasim, tomorrow Sorpon, tomorrow Swedro, Winneba, tomorrow Ghana Main in Senio. And an animal when you and baby Ako in Senny. So for paying Anoche in Senny. Mina being bedu, Mina being bedu bonsu in Senny. Mina being jetua in Senny. Nananuma when you won't be Ako in Senny. So for paying Chumesi in Senny. Da in Senny. Timagi. Nana Boze in Senny. Nananuma or Obi Biara or Shum CCR Ebusium Bia Mamon and so on. Yambano kwa yambano bon, the bear and Darcy. The bear no any jibby braid there. The pendasu ye sheep near ka mamre some near ka boko some near ka sunsum and some. One jensen. Yena no one man amani na Wawa Germany, Wawa London, Wawa Scotland, Wawa USA, Wawa Spain, Wawa Brazil, Wawa Mexico, Wawa Canada, Wawa China, Wawa Middle East, Wawa Manamani na yada one I saw the world boy when one old boy one tassy, no old boy one I dream, no old boy one susum, the none of my words did you resort to the mean, yes, in sunny. The none of my wall car can, the more they yen, the more they added to ye, the none of my wall car can more they added to ye, be yes, and send you one j, yes, right? Then you may say busy one kay and home boy and home. Obi biara, about day and wonder. Obi biara, Odin Sabiti and 1 percent. Yes, true. Yes, right. The woman Obi biara to medium codo. Non yet craboshe. Nejument tintin. Nemba na nebusian 1 year craboshe. Obi biara ordinance sabaso bibio yimbia yashan and one show one. One more year kasi. Waroko be United the one show one sa Karakun share be a chuchu. Bibi or ye team na come be a chuchu, may send be all con to be a chuchu. Yes, shredded the penny. They you see the penny you see enemy, yes, row and enemy, yes, right. The Obokoda Obo yan hoban. Yeni anuma asuda funi a police furu kumweni, yes, right. The one show ones and one more and one more answer, one more on Tima, one more na kukudra what do kunji one back, what did you want? Yes, right. One bo be biano home, and be biara bonnet denen you may be a slow and anum. When you want a film, no one you want film. A year slow ye are paid there. One can you want be biara. Near Namukonda year before ye Namukonda year your more day. In Sunday year slow, over Kayanda be biara, over Kayanda be biara, over Kayando, over Kayon, a be biara, no yamba cop, one yamba. Dummy ye shim. Then ya num na dofa wa ba petan ya kade ampa na nanom na tumi a we twen ho ehie wonzintro wonzakohwi wo ya no korefo gedasi amen. We just finished the libation. I just finished pouring libation on behalf of everybody watching, on behalf of our brothers and sisters scattered across the face of the earth, on behalf of those in the country, on behalf of those that are waking up, that the powers that be and the spirit, the creator, our mother earth, and all the powers that governs everything that we do would keep us, would protect us, would strengthen us, would bless us with the spirit of boldness, so that we would rise, we would wake up and do what we must do for our generation. Like I'm saying, we are living in a time where we have been so whitenized that we don't even want to have anything to do with our race. When I say we don't want to have anything to do with our race, a lot of people will go like, wait a minute, what do you mean? Look at me, I'm all over the place saying Black Lives Matter. Well, you might be saying Black Lives Matter with your mouth, but in your heart, you're not saying Black Lives Matter. In your spirit, you are not saying Black Lives Matter. I say this and people don't get me, but the most racist book on the face of the earth is the Bible, and other religious books as well. You find racism there. What's the meaning of racism? Racism is a group of people who think alike, who look alike, who feel alike. That's a race. So if in the very Bible that you hold around is telling you, if you are not of this race or you have not of this belief, then you are going to hell, then it means that anything that is against the belief or the race or the people, because it started with the Jewish race. So if you are not a Jewish race, everything else, the Creator doesn't love you. Listen, unless you become a Jewish, you go into Judaism. And that is how all the religions also operate. If you are not like us, then you are going to hell. Then you are going to perish. So how can you say your life matters when the Bible was not used or written? See, many of us are making a mistake to think that those who wrote the Bible wrote it for us. No, they didn't. This Bible was not written for us. This Bible was written for themselves, for their people, for their descendants. When you wake up and you open up your eyes and you read, you take your time and read the context of your Bible, you would realize that this is speaking to their children. And I will read a few things soon. But we are so weaponized that we don't even want to associate ourselves with anything that has got to do with who we are, our culture, our language, our food, our clothing, our dance. We don't want to have any, our drums, our music. We don't want to have anything to do with it. Why? Because when you do these things, they call you either you are too local. Why are you so local? Or they tell you, why are you following after these demonic practices? They call our history demonic. They call our culture demonic. They call our spirituality demonic. Is it not funny that everything about our spirituality is what they have exported? That is what they have exported out of our lands. They have rebranded it and selling it back to you. Your spirituality. So when you go back to the origin, listen, this thing is not made up. Go to almost every church out there. When you sleep and you have a dream and you see your grandmother or your grandfather speak to you in a dream, appear to you in a dream, they will tell you it is not real, it's a familiar spirit, and don't talk to that spirit. When that spirit shows up in your dream, bind it, break it, cast it. That is a demon spirit. Well, you are calling your grandmother a demon spirit and your grandfather a demon spirit. So the people that lead before you are demons, right? Your mother becomes a demon automatically. I hope you know that. You yourself become a demon. That is how westernized we are. We run away and leave who we are. We leave our culture. We leave our heritage. And we are continually following after another's heritage. Something that is ours, something that is our own. We don't want to have anything to do with it. We would rather be slaves than be free. We would rather be slaves than be kings. We are comfortable being slaves than being king. We would rather, and this is sad, we would rather be slaves than be free. You think I'm lying? When you ask everybody around, what is it? When you are even filling a form, they ask you, what is your religion? They never ask you, what is your spirituality? They ask you, what is your religion? And they associate all these three religions, or either you are Jewish, you are Christian, you are Muslim, and all the rest are Hinduism and Buddhism and all of that part in certain countries. And every other thing is looked down upon. So they write traditional. And you see, the minute you are a traditionalist or you are from, you believe the things of our fathers, immediately everybody in the room looks to you like that. That is the demon worship. That is the God worshiper. He's a traditionalist. Well, what have you, a black man, got to do with Judaism? It's insane. We carry titles like rabbi. Who amongst your lineage, who amongst your ancestors, who amongst your fathers was called a rabbi? Who? Who amongst your fathers was called a rabbi? You call yourself a bishop, an apostle. Who amongst your fathers was called a bishop? So we would rather be a part of something that is not ours than to own what is ours and make it great. So we are in this culture of making everybody else's own great whilst we demonize our own. Do you think if we put together all our strength and power and raised up our spirituality, there will be any other race on the face of the earth that would even come close to what we have? No. Why? Because what we have is been demonized by you and I. I'm not going to blame the white man. I'm not going to blame the Arab. I'm not going to blame the Chinese, and I'm not going to blame the Hindu. I'm blaming you and I. We are responsible. Because nobody is holding a gun to your head to become whatever religion you have associated yourself with. Out of free will, you decide you want to be this and you want to be that. You decide. Nobody puts a gun to your head. Which of your ancestors, when I talk about the ancestors, I'm talking about real ancestors, not just 2-3 generations ago. Which of your ancestors was any of these religions? So the minute we adapt, we love adapting ourselves into things that we are not, and we look down on the very things that defines us. Why is it that whenever you want to do anything spiritual, when you use any other language apart from your very local language, it doesn't work? But the minute you start praying, you start speaking, you start declaring things in your language, you feel power, you feel a weight to it. Because the minute you speak your language, you are not just speaking that which is coming out of your mouth, you are invoking every word that is said in your genealogy, in your generation, in your ancestry. Because words are spiritual language. There's a spirit behind every language. When you speak any other language in prayer, apart from your own language, that spirit don't recognize you. That is why you don't feel any power in it. When will we wake up and love our own? When would we wake up and trust our own? When would we wake up and believe our own? You see, when I talk this way, I don't merely look at our brothers and sisters that are scattered across the face of the earth like you are part of what I'm saying. No, they are not part. They are excused. You know why? Because they are in places that they don't want to be. You'll be amazed when you ask most people outside our continent, they would rather be born here than anywhere else in the world. Do you know who don't think like this though? Our own people, our own race. You'll be amazed how many people were born here, born by 2 Ghanaian parents, leave the continent, find themselves in a foreign country and don't even want to come back. Some don't even want to be called a Ghanaian anymore, a Nigerian, a Kenyan, a Congolese. Some don't want to be called a South African anymore. Some don't want, because you know what, they rather want to be called, oh, I'm an American now. Oh, I'm going back to my country. Well, that is not your country. That is your slave land. This is your country. This is where your root is. Whenever a tree is cut off from its root, it will die. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, no matter how you change your appearance, you will never be them. Do you mean to tell me the Creator is crazy? When he created you, he didn't know who he wanted you to be. Of course he knew who he wanted you to be. But you are the one that has so infuriated yourself so much so to think until you add another person's accreditation to your own self, you will never become better enough. You'll never become good enough. So everything that has got to do with another language, we are all for it. But nobody is interested in the things that we speak about, in the languages that we have in our spirit, in the languages that we were bet into. Nobody want to associate because they look at it and say it's inferior. Ain't it funny when you look at the curriculum of your children? When you look at the curriculum of your children, this is Spirit Friday. Let me go spiritual on you. Because a lot of people want to be spiritual, but these are the basis of spirituality. Listen, I have things I can talk about every day. I can talk about different things every day. But these bases, when we lose this basis, we lose the whole fight. We lose it. If you want to correct anything in our generation, the first place you got to correct is your own children. How many of us have kids? And when our children are going into schools and they are looking for languages to learn, how many of you, and don't lie about it, how many of you would be bold enough to say, I want my kid to learn Fanti, I want my kid to learn Ashanti, I want my kid to learn Hausa, not Hausa, it's Hausa, like, I want my kid to learn Evan, I want my kid to learn the Bunny, I want my kid to learn Frafra, I want my kid to learn Nzuma. Listen, if we pick, and this is the saddest thing, if we pick 100 Ghanaians, you would be amazed 99 of them are not even studying these languages. If you take just one sometimes 0.0% are those that are proud and want their kids to learn any local language. I was having a conversation with somebody and I was telling this, the person was telling me, oh, I don't think you even love your language. And I'm like, wait a minute, I love my language. He said, but 99% of the things you teach on YouTube and all that is not even your language. I'm like, wait a minute. The only reason why I speak English is because of you. So that you would understand. No, but let me be honest. The reason why I speak English language even to begin with was because growing up, we were told it was inferior. We were told if you speak the English language, you are dumb. Because parents are paying money for you to go to school, right? But these parents are paying this money for you to learn another man's language and tell you if you want to do well in society, you got to speak this language that has nothing to do with your ancestors. So our parents and our school system made it in such a way that you look down on your own language and you look down to the English language, and that is where they got us. That is where they did a number on us, because the minute you look down on your own language and you pick somebody's language over your own language, psychologically you have won. Psychologically, you are telling yourself that your people are inferior, and the other race, the other people are better. That is how we just can't look at a locally made thing, a black-owned thing as proper. Because even in our language, our first place of learning, our basic learning, we are taught subconsciously and psychologically that, listen, this is better, this is poor, this is wrong. When you speak this language, you are not going anywhere. So growing up, it was fashion. It was, yes, when you are able to speak, when you're able to speak the English language, you know what's up. Yeah, what's up? How you doing, brother? I'm okay. And we speak like that to talk to the girls. And the girls would only date people who would call them, hi baby, how you doing, babe? How you doing? How's everything going on? But when you approach a girl and say, no, I'm not ready for that. No. Yeah, illiterate. Who told you speaking an English language makes you literate? This is where we are losing the battle. Right from the minute your parents spend money, you find black men, black women, black children learning Spanish, learning French, learning Italian. Oh, because if we don't learn these languages, if we don't speak these languages, these people will not be able to trade with us. Are we not trading with China all the time? Are we not trading with Taiwan all the time? Do you speak Taiwanese? Do you speak Chinese? If you put value on yourself and they want to do business with you, they will go and look for an interpreter to come and interpret what you are saying. When you put value on yourself, they will do business with you. Do you know why? Because they have put value. And it's sad that when the white men came, the white men never bothered to learn our language. But instead, the white man wanted you to learn his language. Do you know why? Because the white man is telling you that you are inferior to their language. You are inferior to their race. So if you want to learn anything, you got to learn their race. You got to learn their language. You got to learn their ways. And you got to look down on yourself. When you have a system like this, when you have a culture like this, when you have a structure like this, there is no way you can emancipate yourself. We talk about emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds, right? Until we go to the grassroots of languages, we would never win this thing. We are not talking problems. We are talking solutions. It's a disgrace to have a whole curriculum for a country. For a country. It's a disgrace to have a whole curriculum for a country. And yet, in the curriculum, there's nothing promoting your culture, your history, your people, your language. Nothing. They put it at the side, and everybody got to force everybody to speak English. It's a shame. It's an embarrassment. Do you know, I was having a conversation with somebody. The person thought the national language of Ghana is English. I'm like, no, that is only the official language. Do you know what it means for something to be official? It means what? It only gets spoken in the offices. Go to the offices. You would find people with PhDs, whatever, in boardroom meetings, and all they are speaking is Chi language, Gan. Go to the offices. So who are we deceiving? Who are we pleasing? We are pleasing the world that we are this, but behind the scene, we speak our language. Go to the street. Over 70% of the Ghanaians don't even speak Chi. Don't even speak English. Sorry. Cannot constructively speak English. Right? Yet, the official language of Ghana is English. I can only speak for Ghana. You see, the day I would start respecting our leaders, not respect us and I disrespect them. No, I've never spoken bad about any leader. But the day they would finally gain my trust, gain my respect, is the day I see the leaders putting our language first above every other thing. Is the day I see that our leaders will go to any country and speak Chi and get an interpreter to interpret. You see, the minute you do that, you have raised the standard. You are telling the world, you have made an announcement to the world that listen, we are waking up. Until we do that, no. Embrace so that you can say ya kanyan kase hu da sunsum wo me hu da tumi wo kase na ye kanam na de bia that is crazy. That is how we lost it. And that is why I spoke English. That's why I learned to speak English, because I felt I was taught it was cool. Because our teachers would tell us you are dumb when you don't speak the English language. Because society, the places you go, the places you find yourself, will laugh at you when you can't even speak English language. This is why we are losing. Because we don't own the spirit behind our language. If you don't own your language, how can you own the spirit behind your language? How can you do that? Let me teach you something. Let me use the same Bible, huh? Deuteronomy 4:9 says what? Only take heed to thyself and keep thy soul diligently. Keep thy soul what? Your soul will cry. Keep it what? Diligently. Lest thou forget the things you saw with your eyes, and lest they depart from your heart, all the days of thy life. But teach them thy sons and thy sons' sons. What does he say you should do? You see what? Lest thou forget the things. So, majority of us, the things we saw growing up, the cultures, the beautiful culture, even the food we saw around growing up is going in extinct. Why? Because we've forgotten about all these things. We've forgotten about, sometimes growing up, when somebody was sick, they'll just go behind the building, plug a leaf, smash it, put water around it, ask you to drink it. You are healed. We are forgetting. Listen, things don't automatically update themselves until we put practical measures to go into our languages, to go into our root and start learning these things. It will not come automatically. You will not receive it automatically. Until say ebe sorry ne akanya kasa na ma kamu krom kasa na ma kada wodi na ye woke. Until we start saying these things, we will not win this thing, because it starts here. See how important you are to them. See how they learn your languages. You think they value you? No, they don't. You are busy learning everybody's language, but your own language. That is why we are forgetting the blessings that our fathers left us with, because our language were secret codings. Our language were secret coding. Do you understand what that means? It was a coding, it was a training, it was a spirit. You've thrown them. You see, me, I would never believe, and that's me, that's just me. I'm entitled to my people. I would really respect a president that would tell me they love my country when I see all their children grow up here, grow in our school system. When I see all their children not go and study anywhere else. What are you telling me? What? No, what are you telling me? I respect an elder that raised their children from here. They can go and visit. There's nothing about that. But when you talk about training, how can you not receive a training from your people? How can you not receive a training from here, from your land, from your grounds, and say that you are coming to lead us? When all your childhood, you were raised somewhere else. People will say, oh, it's not me, and my parent. No, it was you. You loved it. Yes, your parent told you. Our parent told us the same thing. That is better. You loved it. That is why you didn't look back. So how can you come and lead me if you don't know about my customs? If you don't know about our spirituality, how can you lead me? How can you lead me anywhere? Government is guiding the people, leading the people, governing the people. How can you govern a people if you don't know anything about the people? If you don't project the people? The reason why you take your children out there is because you think they know any better than your own people. It's because you think when they go out there, when they get there, they will be better off. What are you saying indirectly? It means once you spend your days here in school and all of that, you will never be better. No, that is a lie. Our medicine is better than their medicine. Our medicine is way better. There's not a single thing that you can learn out there that you won't do better here. Not one thing. Tell me what? Our spirituality is way better than anything else. So before you talk about leading me, I want to know, how far do you know about my fathers, our fathers? How far do you know about ourselves? You cannot be a leader of a people if you don't know anything about the people. I would only respect somebody born and bred, raised here, understood the customs, the cultures, understand what it means to be an elder. Listen, until we learn, we've let somebody use certificates to tell us what is good. Who in the world told you the white man's language is better than yours? Who in the world told you the white man? Who gave that standardization that the English language is better than yours? When people speak in the local dialect, listen, you think I'm making this up? Walk into a room. I'm in Ghana, I experience these things. When you walk in a room and elders come, people come and they speak their local dialect, you would not respect them. I know. All these young ones that are white and eyes, you would not respect them. I know. But let somebody, oh, I see. Ain't it? I'm talking about it. There's, oh, see, he's so trained. No, that is not training. That is selling your soul. That is selling a piece of you. People say, let me wrap it up. People say that, how can you say Jesus? How can you say Jesus is not the Son of God? Deuteronomy 8:19-20 says what? And it shall come to pass if thou do all that. It shall come to pass if thou do all that forget. If thou do at all forget the Lord thy God and walk after other gods. Do you read it? Walk after all. If you forget your God and go after other gods and serve them and worship them, I testify against you this day, you shall surely perish. This is why we are being treated as nothing, because we have left ours and we are going after theirs. Because we have left our gods, we have left the powers that guide us, that protect us, and we are going after theirs. He says what? This God is testifying against them and says you will surely die. When you cut yourself from your God, you will die. You'll be treated as nothing. You leave this, you go after what? Allah. You leave this, you go after Jesus. You leave this, you go after Jewish. You leave this, you go after Buddha. You leave your God, your own. You leave your libations, your spiritualities. You set it aside and you go after. He says you will surely die. When you leave your God and go after other gods, you will die. Somebody will say, how can you talk like this? The devil is using you. The devil is using you. The devil is really using you. You say Jesus is not. You are going to hell. See how foolish you become. How can you think like that? Sorry, I said foolish. I don't like to talk like that, but it's irritating. I'm telling you. How can you tell me? Listen, how can you tell me the devil is using me and all that I'm doing is telling you to wake up, is telling you to love your own, is telling you to love your people? How can you say I am being misled or I'm misleading people if all that I'm telling people is wake up and love yourselves and love your own and love your heritage and love your tradition? If the devil is the one using me to say the things that I'm saying, then I would clap for the devil, and I know at least the devil is in support of the black man. Because all that I'm saying is telling our brothers and sisters to wake up. So if I'm used by an evil spirit, then this evil spirit, I applaud it, I love it. Because it's telling me to love my own, to love myself. Then it means the devil is not for the white people. The devil is against the white people. The devil is not for any other race. It means the devil is a black man. And listen, I would choose my devil who is a black man over any other thing who is of any other race. You can be the angel of righteousness. If that is it, listen, you can be the purest. So long as you are not of my own people, encouraging my people to come up. So long as man enya honsini bi oba me ye kan yan ho na ya posu yan ho na ya ye mo ye o se no fata Bibia ekezechi. Nzama ezechi ninti ese nzama na ezechi ni papa chen walankasa woza wona nanum wo wutum wo papa no wo wutum. Ekezo bi ami America acho there. Oye there when you pray na so na do woze no ami na bonsam use. On na ma bonsam pedasam pa. Then I love this devil. I'm telling you, if the devil is misleading me to speak the truth, then I love this devil. I will preach for the devil. I will be the first apostle for the devil. Because I'm telling you to wake up. I work for the devil. I love it. When you read and it says what? Don't go after other gods. Common sense not telling you. He is also a God. And he has chosen these people. And don't go after any God that is not with your people. So if I do this and you think I'm misleading somebody, because I'm telling the truth, because I don't want you to be a servant to anybody, because I don't want you to be a slave to anybody, but I want you to be a king in your own. You see, it's better to be a slave in your own land than to be a slave in somebody's land. You will not be treated the same. I'm telling you. So for our leaders to get my response, so for our leaders to earn my respect, for our leaders to be at a place where I look up to them, they have to first show me where their loyalty is. Your loyalty will never be with our ancestors if you are not even allowing your children, or force, even if you have to force them, forcing your children to know about their ancestors. If you are a black man and you tell me your God is Jesus, how do you expect me to respect you? How? With all the evidence and with all the facts. Sometimes it makes it sound like, no, you've spoken about this enough. Let's move to other things. Let's talk about other things. No. I haven't spoken about it enough. I'm telling you. You have known Christianity your entire life for 30-something years of your life, or 40 or 50 or 60 or 70 years of your life. They kept preaching the same Bible to you and you never had enough. I'm only telling you, wake up to righteousness. Wake up to what is rightfully yours, what is better than your spirit. I say one or two, you say, no. I got to say a million times. We have not said enough. Spirituality is when we are rooted in our own. Spirituality is when we are rooted in our own. Spirituality is when we call on the gods that speak, when you call on the powers. Spirituality is when we call on those that understand your language. That is spirituality. When you communicate with the language of your fathers. Somebody asked me a question. So when you say that, then what do we, those in the diaspora, do because we don't speak our local? No. Listen. That's what I'm saying. I can excuse you for being a diaspora, but I will never excuse anybody that was born on this continent and speak a language of this continent. I will never excuse you. Listen. When you pour libation, first of all, learn keywords. Learn keywords like the creator of Dumankuma or any other language you speak. Or Learn keywords. Asasi Mameya, the earth we call Asasiya Mameya. The powers that be, you can call the Insu, Area, Asasi. You can call these basic things, right? And even invoke these basic words, these basic names, and you are okay. Then the rest will come with time. But for your children, you see what the Muslims and the Jewish do from scratch. Every Muslim goes to Makaranta. Every Jewish go to the synagogue and learn everything about who they are from scratch. This is what we must do. We must build our temples and shrines and teach our children from 0 to 12, 13, 14, everything they need to know about our culture, our heritage, our history, our spirituality, and they will never depart from it. So you can say that it's too difficult for an elderly person to learn. You can say they are tree teachers, they are account teachers, they are fancy teachers, they are hunter teachers, they are ever teachers, Gan teachers, Yoruba teachers, Zulu teachers, Swahili teachers. They are teachers all over the place. Okay? Get teachers to start teaching your children today, now. And let your children also teach their children's children. You cannot forget that which you saw with your own two eyes. Deuteronomy 6:14. What does 6:14 says? Let me read it. I'll let you go. Deuteronomy 6:14. It says what? Ye shall not go after other gods. Are you reading it? You shall not go after other gods. It means don't go after these gods. Stay with your God. You shall not go after other gods of the gods of the people which are round about you. For the Lord thy God is a jealous God amongst you, lest the anger of the Lord thy God be kindled against you and destroy thee from off the face of the earth. The reason why the gods are jealous, regardless of what God you serve, the gods are jealous, regardless of what God you invoke. The gods are jealous. They are jealous. So when you leave them and go after other gods, they turn against you. So what we have to do, start teaching our children the truth, the way of righteousness, the way of our fathers. That is why I say I will not respect our leaders if all they do send their children all over the place to learn and never teach their children their own. When you take 100 of our leaders, 99% of our leaders' children, okay, let me be fair, about 80% of our leaders' children cannot even speak the Chi language fluently because they are all raised elsewhere. How is the country moving forward? Because listen, their children are going to be the future leaders, right? Once in a while, other people from other places come and take the seat. Okay? If they are training their children not to get used to our customs and our tradition, but to learn the white man's ways, what would their children come and teach the next generation? Do you see what is wrong? That is how come when our leaders are having meetings and endeavors and all what have you, they go and call pastors to come and call on Jesus, forgetting that the land you are standing on, has a God. So don't go after other gods. But we are going after all these gods. Islam, Jewish, Christianity, Hindu, what have you. We keep going after other gods. And we leave our own gods behind. And you think they will bless us? You think they will protect us? You think they will raise leaders? Until we start, let's start learning today. Let's start teaching our children today. Let's start learning key important words. So that when you learn these words and begin to invoke them in your prayers become potent. I love you guys. Listen, get your questions ready. I'll see you on Zoom on Sunday. We'll meet on Zoom on Sunday to have our community meetings. Sunday, 7 p.m. GMT all the way up. 7 p.m. sharp GMT. We are ready to study, to learn, and to empower. Sunday, one of the things I will teach is how to pour a libation in your own house. How to pour libation in your own house. I'll teach you that. So you start learning how to pour libation, how to invoke powers that be. And from the minute you start pouring libation in your own house, you will learn that things have changed and things are different. Stay blessed. I love you guys. Listen, I say the things, the spirit and the powers that be lay on my heart to say. When it comes to studies, we study. But when it comes to what to say, you are always supposed to be led. When it's Spirit Friday, we talk spirituality. And what the Spirit is saying is, get to speak your own language. When you speak your language, you connect to your fathers. And when you are in the diaspora and you can't speak any local dialect, any language of your fathers, at least start getting teachers. In this community, we have Kwame. I think Kwame is a teacher. We have teachers in this community. Yataba is also a teacher. She can teach you. We have teachers. Our mother in South Africa can also teach you. Our brothers in Congo, all over the place, Nigeria, they can teach you. Get somebody and start learning something. Start learning something today and start praying in that. And you will begin to experience real spirituality in your life. I love you guys. Stay blessed.